Hi everybody, it's Lisa from Sutton's Days. As you may know, September is National Preparedness Month. Preparing and prepping and being prepared is different dependent on who you are, what your circumstances are, what your finances are, what your location is, and what you're preparing for, what your emergency is. So we're going to kind of take an overall look this month on ways that you can become better prepared for the emergencies in your life. Today, we're going to start off with a little bookkeeping. Bookkeeping. Not exactly what you're thinking, right? You were thinking I was going to talk about how to light a fire by rubbing two sticks together. No. What I'm going to talk about is bookkeeping. And by bookkeeping, I mean that with today's world, there's just a lot of accounts and numbers and licenses and certificates that we have to have in case of emergency. Now, if your house catches, God forbid, if your house catches on fire, or if you're involved in a flood, or if there's some kind of major catastrophe, a tornado comes through, you need to have some kind of system so that you can quickly grab all of this important paperwork and go with it, or so that you can find it, or so that it's stored in a couple different places. The optimal choice, honestly, is to have 2 or 3 copies of it. One in a bank vault, one in a fireproof safe in your house, and one someplace else. Okay, you pick the place. But this is just a short list of some of the things that you can put in this binder, in this folder. I know where we're concerned, it takes a little bit more than a binder, but it's good information to have. And this way, if anything comes up, you don't have to hunt and search for it. And that's important. That's time. Okay. So for your bookkeeping, these are the things that you want to try to find. And excuse me again, I've got my handy dandy list. Okay. Birth certificates. You want your birth certificates. You want your driver's license, if you have driver's license, or if you have a state ID. Marriage license if you're married. Divorce papers if you're divorced. Okay. Or divorce papers and new marriage papers if you're lucky. Copies of your will, and your powers of attorney, if they are applicable at all. Any deeds, any titles, any contracts, insurance policies. That one's really important. You want a copy of your insurance policies, a copy of your social security cards. Now, that's not something you're going to go flashing around any place, obviously, and you shouldn't be carrying it in your wallet anyway. But you want to make sure that you've got an original someplace, and then you've got a copy or two, okay, in with your other stashes. Military separation papers, if it applies. Tax returns. Now, you only have to keep your tax returns for 7 years. I normally keep mine about 10 just because I err on the side of caution and I really like paperwork. But you want to keep a copy of your tax returns for the last 7 years, okay? Credit card information. You want to be sure to keep your credit card information, and that's everything from the number and the expiration date to the phone numbers that you contact. That's really important. I just had a friend whose purse was stolen, and all of her banking information was in her purse, and so she was a little frantic about that. As far as your car goes, you want your registration, your title. Those are the originals. That goes with the original book. But then you also want a written down VIN number someplace just in case, and that's normally on the title, but just in case, I'd keep extra copies. Your license plate numbers. I remember the most amazing things. I remember my phone number from when I was growing up. I mean, we're talking kid up, okay? I can remember that phone number. I don't know my license plate number. It's just one of those things that doesn't stick. The other thing that a lot of people don't think about is bank account numbers. It's nice, at least where we live. I mean, they all know us. They all know, everybody knows each other. It's a small town. It's a small community. And so I can walk in there and go, hey guys, I can't remember my number. And they'll tell me, not a problem. I don't know if that works the same way in larger cities, but keep a copy of your bank account numbers, and that's your savings and your checking and your, all of them. Make sure that you have all of your numbers and all of the pertinent information, so that if anything happens and you're not dealing with the people that you're used to dealing with, you can go someplace else and get to your funds, okay? The last thing that I like to keep, which gets updated a little more frequently than not, is a list of our passwords. And that is very helpful, especially since Phil and I got married. Um, where we're combining a lot of different accounts, and so having a password, or changing that password so that it was something that we both knew, uh, was important. But it's also very easy to forget because I've used a sequence of similar passwords for many, many, many years. And he actually has a trickier mind than I do when it comes to passwords. So I normally have him make up my new ones, but then I have to remember them. Password list is very helpful. Any medical paperwork, okay? If you have any medical records on hand, any medical history, this is something else that you want to make sure to include in this very important bookkeeping task. Um, it's just really good to have that kind of information. If you can get information about blood types and any surgeries that have happened, and anything in particular that fits with your world, with your lifestyle. That's really important. It's a really good thing to have, and it's really helpful. If you're a single person who has a backup buddy system, should anything happen to you, your friend will come into your house and kind of grab information for you. You want to make sure that you've got somebody that can get to that information to tell people if there's a problem, to tell people, if something's going on, or to tell family members, hey, if anything happens to me, that binder is there. You know how to get to it. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have a little bit of backup and to make sure that it's all together. There seems to be so many odd things happening now. There's the floods in Louisiana. There's an earthquake in Oklahoma. Um, just a lot of strange weather happenings alone that make it necessary for a quick evacuation, if you even have warning. And so being able to just grab one or two binders or one or two fireboxes and take them and have everything that you could possibly need in your car, in your suitcase with your person, is just, it makes life a little easier. It makes things a little safer, a little nicer. Okay. That's the first part of being prepared, is getting all of that bookkeeping put together so that it's easily accessible, so that you have a backup copy or two, and so that you're ready in case of an emergency. Because we're not hoping for an emergency, but we want to be prepared in case it finds us. I hope everyone's having a really great holiday weekend. Today is Labor Day, and yesterday was our anniversary, and we just had a nice, relaxing weekend. Today it's a little warm. Fall kind of snuck in for a little bit and then snuck back out again. But this month I'm looking forward to chatting with you and showing you different things that we're doing to be more prepared. And I hope today that if you don't already have this bookkeeping system down, that you put it together, that you give it some serious consideration, figure out what you're missing and what you need in order to fill that binder, to fill that box, so that you're prepared in case of emergency, because I don't want anything to happen to you. I hope everyone's having a great day. We'll talk to you again later. Bye-bye.